Let's get to know each other. I am Danielle Bueno, and I'm very proud to say I'm going to be your celestial coach here for Love and Moon Boutique. I'm very proud to say that because I spent a lot of my time in my life studying for spiritual understanding. So reaching this point is like the world acknowledging that I did a great effort and that should be appreciated, right? That's how I feel about it. So thank you for joining me today, and let's get a little bit into the history. So in 2010, I was having a normal life. I had graduated from college. I was coming back from Panama to study my Spanish, and I started working in normal business corporations, and I wanted to have a normal life, but life started sending me very spiritual experiences. After weird things started happening to me, like talking to invisible people and all that stuff, I decided I need to understand what was going on, and I wanted to study something related to spirituality. Back then, I wasn't so intimate into the subject, so the first thing I thought it was that if I'm going to relate to spiritual experiences, this is related to sky, so I'm going to study astrology, okay? For that reason, I started studying astrology, and things got even weirder because life started presenting me people that already had something different. So I was in a birthday party back in 2013, and I was doing my birthday together with a friend, and I met this guy. And by the end of the party, I was having very critical opinions about myself, but in my thoughts. And out of nowhere, this guy comes by my side, and he starts to verbally answer me for all of my thoughts. And I was like, oh my god, this guy's totally reading my mind. I have no doubt of that. And I was like, oh my god, I have to understand what's going on. So in the next day, after the party, I looked for my friend, and I was like, okay, there was this guy like this in your party. Can you tell me please who was he? And she gave me his contact. I got to know this guy. We were very friendly, and he decided to teach me tarot. By that point, he had already studied tarot for 30 years. So I knew that his knowledge was beyond doubt, and I started studying with him, and our studies went so deep that I got very good in reading symbology, and because of that, I also started practicing to read life symbologies and dream symbologies, because if some symbologies from the card had that meaning for life, so also some symbologies sent from life were also with me, and that started working. So I transferred the tarot knowledge from the cards to symbologies of life, and I started experiencing more spirituality directly in my life. At this point, I already knew that things were very vivid, and I started reading Carlos Castaneda's books. In the beginning, I thought they were just amusing and a little bit of fantasy, but at a certain point, about Journey to Islam, I thought to myself that I need to start to do the experiences that Don Juan Matos was teaching for Carlos Castaneda while he was doing this process, right, for writing those books. And when I started practicing those exercises mentioned in the book, it got very real for me. Now, some people that know Carlos Castaneda may even say that he's a charlatan, that those things aren't real. But let me tell you something. After reading all of those books, and after doing all of the exercises in the book, let me tell you something. I don't know he was a charlatan, because they did work on me. So I got very deep into that knowledge and in tarot and in dreams reading and astrology, and things were getting bigger. And I was having second doubts in that point about religion because it was not making sense, okay? How a God that is a being full of love, he creates his kids, us, and if we don't behave as he wishes, we're all going to burst in flames? What is that kind of thought? Isn't he love? Wasn't he the one who created us? So you're telling me that he created us, but then he allows us to like commit sins and we get punished? Oh my God, that was so wrong, you know? So I started looking for God for myself. Okay, let's not talk God, okay? God can be a little bit disturbed for some people. So let's call it divorce, like in Star Wars, or the original seed, or the creator of the universe. I like those names. They have the same meaning to me. The power of love and all that. So I started looking for this original seed, and I wanted to know him. Okay, I'm gonna call it him because I don't feel like it's the right thing for the greatest being in the whole world, okay? In the whole universe, okay? So let's go with him. I'm gonna use the him because I'm used to it, okay? So I was looking for him and I started calling him and I started hearing things. So I had this telepathy experience. I had met this guy that taught me tarot and I was going really well on it, and we got deeper, and then he taught me how to read hands. Okay, this is not like palm reading, like the palm reading that came from the gypsies, okay? It was more like palm reading, like I could touch someone in their hand like this, like completely touch of their hands, but with both of my hands and both of the person's hands. And I could travel my spiritual energy, my life spiritual energy, like my being spiritual, inside of the other person's body, and I could compare my energy to the other person's energy. Because of that, I could read the other person's energy. And by contrast, I could understand the differences of the energies. So I started reading people's hands, people's energies, and things got very real because I was telling things to people and they were like, oh my God, this totally worked exactly as you said, and I'm impressed. I wanted to see and talk to you again because I wanted to see more things, and they were feeling like this was very real because the things that I was saying, they were coming true. That is very important to say because if I'm having real experience and if we're gonna talk about the great original force, I would like for us to discuss this on a real level, like talking from me to you, because I want to feel like we're gonna connect and I can be understood. So when I talk of this passion about the great force and all spirituality, I come from a place of trying the full connectedness, the whole integration, you know, when you're feeling like completed. There is this complete full feeling of joy in our whole being. So I do hope us to reach those very joyful points together as we discuss. And the more we tend to talk about the great force, the more our spirits and our consciousness elevates to another level. So I believe we're going to connect. And this is important to mention because this is the best way to feel the great force, okay, when you get into connectedness. So I come from a place of whole integration with the whole universe to guide us through this connection so we can together elevate our consciousness to the greater level and we can start experiencing those things. And I hope in here to be able to bring you guys a lot of good insights and information for us to grow all of this together, okay? Because I'm not in this alone. I'm not like a teacher or anything. I'm here for us to talk about this together And I hope that we can grow the subject together, you know. I hope for us to, okay, you can send me questions. I would love to receive questions. I would love to be able to answer your doubts. I'm gonna use all the experience I have had in those 14 years to try to bring your heart's consolation. But I also hope for us to grow this together, okay? Because this is an eternal path. Don Juan Matos, who is Carlos Castaneda's mentor, you're going to hear me talking about him a lot. He makes a small comparison. He does like this, okay? Imagine yourself lying down on the top of a table. Life as we know it is only you and that table. Everything around and beneath it is spirituality. So I do know that there is a lot for me to learn yet, and I like to do it with friends. So I do hope for us to connect for real, to be able to grow those subjects, because those questions, they can really bring someone to like almost stop their lives from working, because those questions sometimes they grow on us so big that they occupy a lot of our minds, because we don't want to go through life thinking that we are only another piece in a chess play, okay? We want to be meaningful. I probably was brought to this earth for some reason. So there's a lot of going on in here, in our bodies, in the world, in our minds, in our organisms. You're telling me that this is only for material purposes? No, I really doubt that, you know. So I do believe that by answering and growing those subjects together, it can bring a lot of consolation to us and other people. I know that because I feel like that. When I get to find some insight that answer my life questions, life crisis questions, I feel very consolated, and this is very important. Also, this is a very good opportunity for us to take advantage of, because this subject has not a big part in the world, okay? The world helps us to focus on outsider things. So let's take advantage of this place that Love and Moon Boutique has given us to go through those subjects, for us to feel at ease, you know, from all the consumism and all the stimulation that the world's put in front of our eyes. Let's take a breeze from that, and you know, like, let's go deep within, because if you're looking for eternity, you have 2 points that can access it: your mind and your heart, and they're both on you. So if you want to touch a bit of eternity, now we're gonna have to stop a little bit from the outer world stimulation, and we're going to connect within, and this is very deep. From this point on, we're going to go very deep into our hearts, because I want to touch eternity, I want to touch spirituality, and I want to be able to do with you guys. So this will be very important for us to connect and to wish to connect, because this can answer a lot of our doubts. This can help someone to find their purpose in life, as I found mine. This can help someone feel consolated about those questions, as I was saying. And it's like a relief, it's like a mind relief. It's like, okay, I'm getting to understand a bit of it. I'm getting to get the hint of it, as you guys say. Two things I'd like to point, practical things, okay? Mundane things. First, I do those lives on a place with cats, so you could hear cats. My cats are around me and sometimes they meow, okay? So this is point one. Point two, I'm Brazilian. I'm very proud of that. I love Brazil, and I am very in love with all cultures, okay? So because of that, I speak 4 languages, which are Portuguese, my birth language, English, because I learned when I was 5, and Spanish and French, because I love those languages, okay? And now I'm also learning Korean, but I'm very in the beginning, so let's not consider Korean for now. But because of that, you're gonna feel my accent. So this is the reason of my accent. I'm Brazilian, okay? and I do have a lot of languages, so I mix them up a little sometimes. So it's very common for me if I forget a word, I use it in another language, but you're gonna be able to read in the subtitles the correct meaning, okay? But this will not happen very often. This happens very rarely, sometimes only, okay? So this is me presenting myself. Thank you for coming with me up to this point. I really hope for us to connect further. Thank you. And let's take advantage of Love and Moon Boutique. Thank you so much, Love and Moon Boutique, for this space. This is a very big consolation to my heart. I feel like the great force directed this opportunity to me, as much as directed me into this opportunity because of my passion for it, and I do hope to be able to integrate a lot of people in this conversation, okay? That would bring me a lot of happiness. So thank you for now. Have a nice day, evening, afternoon, or morning, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Let's breathe. Thank the inner forces. Thank you, greater force. And bye-bye.